All right, y'all. The shocking truth behind why we get so many patches on 2K games. That's what we finna get into. I dropped a video earlier today that you guys could like form some context behind this live stream and reference for this live stream. Also, there's a full video, a full interview. What up, No Cap? There's a full interview of IGM with developers from like some of the most major releases. Appreciate you, No Cap. So it's definitely some interesting stuff that we're going to get into today, man, because I think it's important that the consumers are aware of what's happening. Let me just send out the tweet and also the live notification. Let me move my stream deck over here. I should have moved it earlier. And we'll get right into it and talk some more about it. Because I think if consumers were more aware, listen, I know it's not going to be a quick fix. Like, I get it. It's not going to be. What up, Frank? Frank Daniel, what's good, man? J2 Wavy, I'm doing good. Hopefully you're doing good as well. Southside Bookie, I see you, man. What's goody? But I think if consumers like it, and I don't mean to be technical here, people who buy 2K, do you get what I mean to say? If you're buying 2K, you should be aware of the process, especially for myself. I watched it all happen. And what I mean to say is that I've been playing 2K since the very first release, and I watched them go through the online process. I watched them like releasing online versions of the game, and then I watched them start to approach microtransactions more aggressively, as we all have seen. It goes without saying. But the process in which development is taking place, where I remember when the first patch dropped ever. Like when 2K released the patch in the first place, it was like, wow, okay, they trying to fix something, right? That's what we was thinking, because it would only be, and then we went for like 2 or 3 years where it was like maybe max 3 patches. It went from 3 to 10 patches per year. Very easy. Like that joint just, the transition was so weird, which to me meant that the development process, because their goal was just to meet a certain level of certification. And I don't know if that certification, like they need to move the goalposts and make certification just a little more difficult for developers so that the gamers don't have this type of experience. I know a lot of us feel like 2K23 was amazing upon release, as do I. I feel like it was amazing. But what we're forgetting is that development teams try to meet certification and they're already selecting a date. We know 2K releases around the same date every year. They're already selecting a date ahead of time. They already know that they're not going to meet the full development of the game by that date. So they set up a roadmap for changes that are going to come after the official release. Hopefully that makes sense to a lot of you guys that are watching. And that's why we get these additional patches that were already a part of the roadmap that they knew they were going to create changes prior to release. That roadmap was already set up. So after release, they already got scheduled the changes that they're going to eventually make. And I think that's what we're experiencing. The changes that were already set up on the roadmap, and that's what's scary. What up, who this? What up, Universal? What up, Jay? What's good, Tristan? What up, y'all? Southside. I wish 2K23 had the same mechanics as 2K22. I've become accustomed to 2K23's mechanics, and it's a different world, but man, was it a learning curve. It's a whole different world out there right now. When I'm on the court, I feel comfy, cozy, Humphrey, bogey. Man, I tell you, I am chilling when I'm on the court, but it took a long time to get to that point, which I felt like I played the game too long to even have to worry about meeting these tremendous learning curves. And in regards to 2K23, it wasn't about necessarily meeting a learning curve. Is that when we started 2K23, we thought the learning curve was going to take us, like veer us over to the left, that we're going to meet that learning curve. But then after season 3, 2K changed the whole direction. It's like a fork in the road or something like that. And 2K just changed the whole direction, that now we're going the opposite way and had to relearn again. So yeah, it is wild. What up, Lucky? What's good, Sham? What up, y'all? There's no need to fear. Sham is here. What up, my G? Yo, the problem with 2K, there's realistic reels. He said, yo, the problem with 2K Online is the game sliders are very arcade-like. If you go into Play Now or My NBA, mess with the game sliders and play a full game, you can see how realistic the game could be. I think for a lot of us, just playing a My Career game showcases how, and I know you're referencing online because offline is very different. It's hella responsive and everything clicks. But I get what you mean, realistic reels. 2K24 is not gonna fix anything. If you guys learned anything from the video I just posted, and if you haven't seen it yet, please go check it out because there's an interview with IGN and developers on that video, and I put a snippet of that interview into that video, and I linked the full interview in the description of my last video. So go check that out if you want some context. Well, go on, Mars. What's good? So he said, quick question. When was the last time you recall 2K had a completed game with limited patches? Insisting, has there been any significant changes to the development team? Well, I could tell you guys, what up, Mars? Appreciate your question. And if anybody else, if I miss your questions, please copy and paste it back into it so I can readdress it when I have time to read the chat after I address this question here. First, the first question was, is 2K24 going to fix everything? No, it's not. It seems to me that the development team has gotten comfortable with this idea that they could meet certification and then drop a tremendous amount of patches afterwards. Mars asked, when did I start noticing that they started adding more patches? And it became extremely noticeable, I say, in 2K19 is when it started to become like noticeable. Hold on, I don't know how many exactly patches 2K19 had, but I remember around that time being aware of, hold on, another patch. And maybe 2K19 had like 2 or 3 patches, if I'm not mistaken. You guys could probably research that. I haven't done research on it, and I may consider doing that. But it was around 2K19 that things started to get a little silly, where we were getting more patches than it was noticeable, like what's going on here, to the point that we went easily from like 3 to 10 patches in a matter of a year's time. I remember it was like 2 years in a row that we had like 3 patches on each game, and then it just skyrocketed from there. So there was a comfort level. And what I'm saying is that these development teams and these companies shouldn't get comfortable with the idea that they can fix the game after release. Because they're forgetting about, it's like we're being, the player base and the consumer, the people who are actually paying the money, we're being put on the back burner in regards to this process for development. You can't expect somebody to pay full price for an unfinished product. And that's where things go wrong. It's like the homie made a reference in my last video. He put a comment. I don't know who it was that put the comment in, but I know somebody left the comment. Salute to that guy. He said, imagine going to buy a car and they deliver your car and tell you you're going to get the wheels like 3 weeks later. Nobody would buy cars. Like, what the hell are we doing here? You're going to get your wheels so you'll be able to drive the car 3 weeks later? That's how it was for 2K. Although 2K did release their roadmap. In other words, if they had, put it like this, they create a roadmap for after release date of the changes that they're going to make after release date. That roadmap is already set up. So in other words, if they actually completed everything that was on that roadmap and released the game, then what we would have received is what we have right now. That's what we would have released on release date. So in other words, 2K didn't even realize that they had a great product on release day. They didn't even like see it because the roadmap said that they had to complete these type of changes. At least that's what it is. That's what we gathered from the other developers speaking. He was a developer of like some really popular games. So definitely interesting, man. Is 2K24 going to be consistent? Highly doubtful, man. Highly doubtful. That's what we all hope for. We all hope for consistency. I don't think if you're new to 2K right now, if like this is your first year, you're experiencing a level of inconsistency that we as 2K veterans haven't experienced. We haven't experienced this type of inconsistency. where one game you get on, you're amazing, and then very next game you get on, and it's like you're playing a whole different. It's like you went from basketball to baseball. The game be so different from one game to the next, and it hadn't been like that. We used to play the game for hours upon hours on end, where you lose track of time. Similar to my experience when I get on different games now. When I'm on 2K, I had to get a clock, like a digital clock, put it right there on my desk, because I'm always looking at the clock when I'm playing 2K. And it used to never be like that. I used to never have to worry about the clock. If I logged into 2K, I knew 8 hours of my day was gone. Easy. That's how it used to be. 8 hours of my day gone. And I know a lot of folks are like, damn, 8 hours. It used to be like that, yeah. We used to not have to look at the clock or feel stressed out. That stress came from different areas, like you maybe wanting to increase your skill and you're unable to execute. So you go and hit the lab because you knew you was going to get on the same exact game the very next day. Only difference was you practiced and you were going to get better. In 2K23, oh my God, no matter how much you practice, you just don't know if 2K is going to be involved that day. So, Dalton, what up, Dalton? I hate to say it, but they need to stop having two separate 2Ks. It's been 4 years since the PS5 came out. Let's move on and just make the one game, even if we have not have a city so PS4 can play. I feel the same way. They do need to make it one game, but that has nothing to do with what we're experiencing in 2K23 Next Gen, as 2K has two different development teams for the current version and the next gen version. The veteran developers for 2K work on the next gen version of the game, and Hookbang, which then became Hookbang, was a separate. I'm gonna give you guys some insight. Hookbang, and I know it sounds funny. I don't know where they came up with the name Hookbang, but it is what it is. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It kind of tries to play at my manhood, and I don't even like seeing it, but it is what it is. The company's name was Hookbang, and they used to be hired as outside contractors to help in the development process prior to Take-Two actually purchasing Hookbang and then creating Visual Concepts Austin. They set them up in Austin to officially develop the current gen versions of the game. So hopefully that makes sense to y'all. I know it's a little complicated, but 2K does have two separate development teams. So it's not like what we experience on next gen is happening because they're stretched in trying to make two different games. No, 2K has endless amounts of resources. I just had this conversation with my wife because my wife brought up the idea that maybe they should just wait a year or two. And I said, no, we don't cut them no slack. We don't cut them no slack. No. 2K has money that we can't even imagine. Remember, Take-Two is behind GTA. So that alone should give you insight. Just mentioning GTA should give you insight as to how much money they have. And I know things are budgeted differently, but it is under this umbrella. And they have endless amounts of resources. They could actually, like me and my wife were talking, we was getting deep into it, and it was like, well, then that means that they could create another development team, just like they did with Hookbang to work on the current gen. They could create another development team and erect a skyscraper for them to work in that office and start working on 2K25. So we'll have one team working on 2K25 or even 2K26, and while we're in 2K23. So that's the type of money they have. That's the type of resources they have. Is endless. And if they wanted to deliver a good product, a finished, polished product, they can do that on release date. So that's how I feel about it. I give them no slack because I know what it is. Imagine for a second, imagine that you was the CEO. How would you handle this? It'll come easy for me to say, all right, we got this amount of money. All right, let's go hire this other team. Show them how to make 2K games. Show that Mike Wang will lead the way working with these different teams. And they'll start working on 2K25 while we're in 2K23. Hookbang sounds like gave us a city no one wants. Facts. I was hyped about the city only because we're all city here on the channel. But yeah, it's facts. It's unnecessary space. I've come to the point where I want ease of access. I prefer to get where I need to go by the menus. Park, all right, drop down menu or click that menu, go to park. All right, we there. You know, type of thing. Yo, let me in your world. You know what? I spy you looking lonely and oh boy, that's why I wanna be your lady. That must be some lyrics. That's Sarah Dobbs. Yo, let me in your world. You know what I spy? Spy you looking lonely. You know, boy, that's why I wanna be your lady. Your love. Man, I am jacking that up. I don't know if those are lyrics to a song that I just don't know about. Maybe there's just a difference in age. I don't know what's going on there, but appreciate the love, Sarah. If that was considered, I don't even know how to receive that, but appreciate you. Everyone in the chat, damn near got 10 bills. Yeah, I think 2K got money. Facts. Yeah, you don't discredit the amount of money that they have, cutting them some slack. And you know, I think when we say things like, well, maybe we need to give them another year to develop. It feel like we're cutting them slack as if they're not this big conglomerate, monopoly type of company. Just this morning, I went 7 for 8. That's Adam. Adam said, just this morning, I went 7 for 8 from 3-pointers. Very next game, same build, I'm 1 for 5. Those are contested shots or phase. Those are green wide opens. So inconsistent. Yeah, it'd be like that. We went through it the other day. We went and shot, and I know this is gonna sound horrendous, but you guys know I don't have an ego. I know what I already could do on 2K. But we've been shooting consistent over the last few weeks, and then I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday, as a team. When I mean everybody started bricking, every single player on the court started bricking. When I last looked, it was like 9 for 29 from 3. 9 for 29 from 3-point line. So it was like, man, and prior to that, we had already been like hitting every shot. Everybody was hitting. So it was already, we were going into this game easy, thinking, another W, it ain't nothing. But then 2K got involved and said, all right, you're going to be on 600 ping. And what I don't like is that they put you on a higher ping, but there's only these subtle differences, like your timing is off, or on defense, you're sliding slightly. In previous versions of 2K, when you were sliding, when there was latency, it was hella noticeable by everybody on the court. Now 2K has done something where it's not as visually noticeable, but you're missing every single shot. The timing is telling you you're way off. And there's no way of adjusting to what 150 ping looks like, because we don't know what ping we're on. So it just really sucks, man, especially for a daily 2K grinder like myself. 2K20 had it good. Yeah, facts. The CEO getting a bonus for us purchasing VC is still crazy to me. And keep that in mind. If you guys don't know this by now, the CEO gets a bonus for your microtransactions. So if they exceed whatever it is, I don't know how it works out necessarily, but if they hit a certain goal, then the CEO gets a bonus for microtransactions. And I think he's on to, I think he just re-signed his contract. If I'm not mistaken, it was till 2029. So they're gonna approach microtransactions aggressively so that CEO could get, I know I would if I was the CEO. If I was the CEO, I'd be like, oh yeah, do what you got to do to make sure I get a bonus. These are facts, but the consumer, see, we'd be able to, us, the players, we'd be able to make better decisions. You won't just throw away $100 if you knew that $100 was going to fund the CEO's bonus and also fund his trip with his family to Disneyland. Do you get what I mean to say? If you knew that your $100 was going into the CEO's pocket, you'd probably be less inclined to create unnecessary builds. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's when I found out this type of information, I slowed down my microtransactions tremendously because I was on the road to spending a lot of money this year, and I had to slow everything down, like to just a grinding halt. Said, nah, it's not going down, B. You're not getting me. The game is not complete and it's obvious. Get rid of the yearly releases. Keep NBA to use your VC for revenue. Yes, facts. Say it, Tim. What up, Tim? I got a goofy clip. Yeah, send it to me. Send me the goofy clip. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, you guys see on the bottom right here. Where is that? Hold on. Let me see it right here. Right here. Follow me on Twitter, All City Live TV. I should see a ton of followers happening. I don't really promote Twitter as much, but I want to get into it. So yeah, follow me on Twitter and send me anything, questions, anything on Twitter. He reached that goal 2 times already. Facts. Disrespectful. That man's about to buy his own island off of our microtransactions. My biggest gripe is some badges don't work at all. And that's been, listen, one of the things that I was complaining about over the last maybe 2 or 3 years was saying that 2K needs to consolidate these badges. There's too many badges that don't work good. And they did that. They did that for 2K23. So I give them props for that, consolidating the badges. But still, man, why do we got a badge in the game that doesn't work? Why is like the limitless range badge so fully functional and has such a huge impact on shooting, but you minimize the effects of like the glove badge for defenders? Every badge should have the same amount of impact on the player. Shouldn't be one badge. If it doesn't have the impact, get the badge out the game, B. Get it out the game. It got to be a huge impact. Leave it to attributes. If it's not gonna serve as they could do 4 badges. We just hella limitless takeoff and limitless rage. The only 2 badges. It's like, and then add some crazy defender badges. They're doing too much. Have GTA, yeah, exactly. That's why I be trying to say, like, folks forget that the Take-Two has GTA. That should say enough as to how much money the company has. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, boy. WTF. Dark Soul game, most finished game in history. And then, all right, for instance, King Icy brought up the Dark Souls games. And I played Elden Ring. And this is one of the first things that made me realize, for one of the first games that got me off of the game, or got me off of 2K, Elden Ring. It didn't keep me off of 2K, but Elden Ring was one of the games that got me off of 2K. And when you see how fully developed that game is, and mind you, there's not a game that's accommodating to gamers. If anything, a lot of gamers will be turned off by how difficult the game is, but it's so stunningly beautiful. And I think it's a game that everybody should try at one time. But when you see how fully developed that game is, you're like, how can't 2K get it right? Why am I playing Zelda Breath of the Wild on Switch and thinking is the absolute best game ever released? And then I come on PS5, next gen console, put on 2K, and it feels underdeveloped. Underwhelming is the experience we have. A lot of us feel underwhelmed, and we're hoping for better because we're playing on a next gen console. You're playing on your controller. It's heavy. It's a heavy controller. You're like, man, this is solid. It's a solid piece of equipment, solid piece of technology, but the developers aren't taking full advantage of the capabilities of these new consoles. And I don't discredit 2K because we've seen a ton of differences. We surely did see a ton of differences, but it doesn't seem to be enough because the gameplay factors, the core foundation, which is just basketball, doesn't make sense. There's some things that are obviously wrong with the core fundamentals of what basketball is. There's supposed to be athletes out there on the court. This means that if I pass him the rock, he shouldn't be fumbling over and rolling out of bounds. This means that these are athletes. If they're under the basket and go up, have a 90 standing dunk, they should get a standing dunk, especially if they're queuing up their dunk animation, holding the right trigger. So these are things that I can't understand, these core fundamentals of basketball that are far eluding 2K developers. And I think that's where the big problems start. I'll get to the comments right now. That's how I feel when I go to Jedi Survivor. Yeah, part of the developers that in the interview that I recently did on my channel in that snippet, what up Agent Q, was from the Jedi Survivor development team. So They were speaking on what's going on with Jedi Survivor. The boxing game will take a lot of a guy out of 2K. That boxing game will make us play less 2K. Oh, I'm going to give it a shot. Appreciate that, Chris. I haven't given the boxing game a shot yet, but I'll give it a shot. It's on Steam, right? I think it's on Steam. Tim Montana said, I hate to sound like a broken record, but yearly release game versus all others like GTA to take the time as the updates are meaningful because they can push deadlines. Can't release 2K24 in 2026. But this is what I'm saying. What I'm getting at here is that 2K has the financial resources to have a development team right now in place developing 2K26. Yeah, I get that. Mike Wayne could watch over these different development teams, just like we have two separate development teams for the current gen version of the game and the next gen version of the game. If 2K was smart and cared enough to release a fully finished and polished product while we're paying full price, respecting the fact that we're paying full price, they would have a development team working on the next year's version. They had one working on 2K24 for both next gen and current gen. Then they'll have a separate development team while we're in 2K23 working on 2K25 or 26 is what I'm getting at. And then, you know, while we're in 2K24, they could take the next gen version to kind of watch over or clean up whatever they're doing for 2K25. Hopefully that makes sense, but they're just not, it doesn't seem like they're using their resources properly to put our best interests in the front line. I appreciate that. Rule Boy Fresh. What up, Rule Boy? Red, what's good, my G? Appreciate you being here. Underwhelmed. That's a very diplomatic way of putting it. I do my best to be as diplomatic as possible because I'm stuck in a very weird position. I'm stuck trying to figure out if it's the actual developers or everybody that's above them. And I made this analogy not too long ago that 2K, the development team, we like to think that they're up here and, you know, what they're, because we give them a lot of blame. But I had this idea because of the aggressive microtransactions that it has to be somebody above them that keeps knocking them down a notch and keeping them in their place, per se. Similar to like an IT. If you guys ever worked in a corporate environment, you know, the IT department is like, they're like the worker bees. You know, they're not held at higher, even though they make sure that they're making sure like the wheels are spinning for the company, but they're like the low end, they're on the low end of the totem pole. And I'm not knocking IT workers, salute to y'all, but I just know how it works in the corporate environment. I feel like the development teams for these gaming companies, because gaming has become such big business, I kind of relate them to the IT departments where it's just like, they don't really got much pull to create how they should create. Because I see what 2K was and what they are now is very different from what they was. At least that's my thoughts on it. I can't say it's fact or false. It's just those are my thoughts on it. Watching all these things take place, especially being a gamer that comes from a 2K where you didn't have to buy boosts and you still could spend hours upon hours on the game. You could go with one build all year and have fun on that one build the entire year. It's so different now. It's so different. Maybe if we don't complain as much when the game come out. Like I said, Jeff Stokes, to help you understand this here. Let me help Jeff. I like that you mentioned that because there is a theory that our complaints are what changed the game. But the insight that I got from that interview that IGN had with the development team is that development teams already have a set roadmap. If you guys don't understand what roadmap is, it's like a schedule of changes. So prior to the release of the game, which they know is going to be unfinished, they have a set roadmap that's scheduled and says, all right, we're going to have this patch to fix this, fix that, because they know it's not going to be finished on release day. So they have that schedule set up prior to release date to drop fixes after the release date. So I think that's what we're experiencing. It's not mainly based in complaints, but the roadmap that's already preset. for what's supposed to change after release. So hopefully this gives you some insight, yeah. This is what this live stream is about. I thought it was important we do a live stream talking about it because it'll give consumers some insight so you can be more cautious with how you spend your money. What if 2K, let's put it like this, let's keep it a buck. What if 2K said, all right, y'all, the game is $70, but it's only about 70% done. Are you guys buying it on day one? I know a lot of us are. I'd probably buy it too, but I'm a 2K creator. But what if they said, nah, we'll let you know when it's 100% complete, but on release day, it's only 70% done? How quickly? I think folks that are normally used to just pulling out the cash and, they'd be a little more hesitant to just, hold on, you said what? 70% done? No. I'll wait. When is it going to be done? In 2 months, it'll be done 100%. All right, I'll wait for the 2 months. I think a lot of us will be like that. Is that not that's stupid. Yeah, is that not legitimate? But they're not being upfront. But that's what this interview that IGN had with the development team, that's what they're basically saying. And when the interviewer asked the developer, they asked them, very simple. Go check the video. It's on my channel, and the link to the full interview is in the description of that video. But the IGN interviewer asked him straight up, why not push it back? It's very simple. Very simple question that a lot of us would have. Why not just wait and drop the game, push the release date back, and wait until the game is finished? The developer said, we got to ship it. Because the shipping date, which they worked out with Best Buy and GameStop, has already been established 6 months prior. So they just can't stop it. So they're thinking 6 months prior that they're going to have a finished product in 6 months, but realize when that release date is approaching that they don't have a finished product after that 6 months. And this is the cycle every year. It just seems like 2K has become accustomed to this cycle where the goal is no longer to release a fully polished game. The goal is just to meet certification so that you can release it at 30 frames per second and not 60 frames per second. And then as they add those patches, we start seeing the gameplay that we have currently in 2K23. What up? He's on fire. What's good, man? Salute to everybody in here. I appreciate y'all being here, man. I think if we had more insight, we could make better decisions. That's what this live stream is about. Offering folks a little bit more insight as to why we get some of these changes in regards to patches on 2K23 and why it's jumped so much in comparison to what it used to be. It used to be just a few patches at most for the year, and now we get 10 easy. Red said, I think it has a lot to do with people not knowing the ways to play the game that the game does not explain. Example, real life defense and switches. I found the more I learned, the more fun. That's facts. And I completely agree with what Red is saying. And that's the process that I have personally went through, on 2K23. And it took me a while, a lot of lab time, a lot of understanding, a lot of running with the correct people. But it was definitely a process to get to what Red was saying, where you just got to get in the lab and figure things out, where normally in previous versions of 2K, there weren't these stalls that you would have between animations. And in 2K23 is more about, hopefully there's a gem here, because there's some that I learned that changed my game. You really got to go to the lab and study each animation and the amount of seconds that each animation takes, and from each animation when you should be moving off of that animation. A lot of times people just want to go. So they're holding their turbo and they're moving their left stick in a direction, but they're forgetting in 2K23 is different mechanics. You just got to be patient and learn the actual animation. And that means that's a slow process, y'all. It's a slow process of taking your controller in the lab and just hitting the right stick one direction and seeing what it does. Hitting it left, what does it do? Right trigger, diagonal up right, what does it do? Right trigger, diagonal up left, what does it do? And see when you start learning those animations and then combining them, that's when you start seeing things differently on 2K. And a lot of it has to do with just patience and letting the animations play out without hitting your left stick. That happens a lot. Zidane Dada is a legend for 29 months. Appreciate you, Zidane Dada. The game also doesn't allow you to play real life defense, but it does. It does kind of, sort of. If you got the right team, it allows you. And interior defense is horrendous, but I was running. Yesterday, I was running with my first build that I ever created on 2K23, and I found out that he's a monster. It's an inside center. He was doing great in regards to interior defense, 6'11 build. I don't know if you guys may want me to make a video on it. I might run with him again today because it was so fun yesterday to run with him, dominating. But when I had him in the beginning, it was good in the beginning of the year. But then after season 4, I brought him back out, and it was like, oh, I got to put that dude on the shelf because they were disrespecting interior defense. After months, I brought him back out again yesterday, and it was just a different experience. Anyone who works with developers understand they have a rating system. Critical, major bugs, they will not ship as is unusable. High, medium, low bugs will ship as is usable. We'll fix later. Facts. Yeah, Tim and Tanis Edwards, they gave us some insight. The developers that IGN spoke with offered some insight. They got to meet a certain certification, and games can't ship if they don't meet that certification. But just like Tim and Tanis Edwards said, a lot of these companies finesse how to meet certification, and I think that goalpost just needs to be moved where certification, there has to be more quality control under certification, because the games that are getting released, similar to what happened with the Star Wars release just recently, could really ruin, where developers think that they're getting away. I don't necessarily, like the dude mentioned, I don't necessarily think it's the developers, but because they had to set a date, that's where the problem lies. They set a date for when it's supposed to be released 6 months prior, thinking that they're going to meet those goals for a good release 6 months later. Instead, the game drops and it receives these tremendous amount of terrible reviews because of all the bugs and glitches the game has. Quite the contrary, with 2K23 dropped, it seemed absolutely perfect, and the player base was excited to meet that learning curve with the new mechanics. But because the roadmap said 2K had a roadmap already in place to fix certain bugs, boom, all those bugs affected gameplay. And that's a big reason why we got what we got right now. Beast Move, as a random, it's all about having the right squad. Facts. I couldn't read your whole comment, but my team is robbery. Yeah, I'm so turned off at the idea of even logging into my team. I know it's fun for some people, but it worries me to even log into my team because I might enjoy it and then be more inclined to spend money. But I've already saw like what some people say about my team, and you spend money for absolutely no reason because you're not going to get the cards you want. How do you certify on server quality and connection? Would certification not just be based on the hard-coded game mechanics? You can't tell me. You're talking Greek to me, Beast Move. I don't know nothing about that stuff. But you would think that there would be some level of certification because it does represent, not only, especially in regards to 2K, there's a lot of ignorant folks out there that would blame PlayStation. Do you get what I mean to say? So like they got a PlayStation, they're thinking my PlayStation is not working online. They don't know that it's the service for the game. They're thinking PlayStation. So I would think PlayStation will hold these folks accountable for having a poor online experience. And they do that every so often, like they did with Cyberpunk. PlayStation does hold these games accountable. For some reason, 2K just consistently gets away with it. Basically, we should be getting paid as code developers. That's basically facts, Vice. Only way I can play center is with 99 interior and double pay and intimidating takeover. Yeah, it's scary. Question, when you say lab, is that the Gatorade gym or something different? I practice in the Gatorade gym, Pro-Am, and Brinkley's. Never know where I should focus my practice, play rec, and Pro-Am. So if you play Pro-Am, you could practice in Pro-Am. the Gatorade is probably, the thing is that there's different timings in each one of these game modes. So if you're practicing, for me, I like practicing my shooting in the Gatorade facility only because Gatorade is probably the closest thing to park. But to me, it seems like the Gatorade facility is closer to the rec than what Pro-Am would be in regards to learning your timing for shooting. So I practice shooting in the Gatorade facility because I mainly play rec, although it's not the exact timing, it's just closer to rec timing to me than it is from Pro-Am. If I want to practice my dribble moves and stuff like that, I like to go to the Gatorade facility as well if I'm going to be switching dribble moves, only because it's easier to switch your dribble moves. In the Gatorade facility, you just hop right off. In the Pro-Am, you got to walk out, wait for it to load up. But if I know the animations that I'm going to keep on and I just want to practice those animations, I'd go into the Pro-Am and practice my dribbling animations. That's how I do it. In fact, you better not crack a smile. You're going to lose. Facts. I have to change my shot yesterday because I couldn't hit a shot. My last shot I've been using for 3 months. I feel you, Elijah. I'm grateful that I haven't had to change my shot in quite a while now. It's been a while. And I'm back on LaMelo Ball. I've been on LaMelo Ball for a long time now, and I'm shooting fairly consistent compared to what I was shooting, way back when I was in a shooting slump and trying to get right. If you guys don't know, the biggest thing that changed my jump shot, this is the absolute number one factor that changed my jump shot. That's when everything came together, is when I signed up for NBA 2K Labs premium service and I went to the jump shot timing recommender. I found out that I personally prefer a super fast jump shot, which I didn't realize. I was trying to adjust to 2K23. But when I inputted my jump shot timing and then 2K gave me the average timing of my preference along with a jump shot that they recommended for me, that's when I realized, oh, I'm just so accustomed to shooting super fast because that's what we've been doing for years. Okay, I get it. I get it. So then I just started releasing my shots differently. I put on a fast jump shot and started releasing it a lot quicker, similar to 2K22's set shot 25. So that was like a huge game changer for me. It opened my eyes and started seeing things differently. If you guys are interested in joining NBA 2K Lab premium for service, use promo code ALLCITY to save yourself 20%. But salute to those folks and everything they do for the 2K community, because I would have probably quit 2K. I would have probably been off playing a different game, trying to upload a different game. It would have been different. Yeah, shameless. I'd be shameless. Yeah, I honestly, I don't. You know why I take pride in recommending 2K Labs? I appreciate that, Frank Daniel. Do you know why I take pride in recommending them? Is because they are doing, I don't see no other company doing what 2K Lab is doing. That's why I don't mind recommending them at all. And it's shameless when I recommend them because nobody else does the work that 2K Lab is doing and what they offer the community, the insight, understanding badges and jump shots. You could then go on their site and come out a brand new person with all the information you'll get from them. So I really appreciate what they do, and they've showed me nothing but love here on the channel and the platform and helping us grow. So I'm like, hell yeah, it worked for me. I put it to work. It worked for me. I'm going to tell y'all about it. And hopefully you guys can have the same experience. And there has been countless folks coming back to me saying, thank you for letting me know about 2K Lab. There's been countless folks. But yeah, I understand that. I know you're just playing. I know you're just playing, Frank. Yeah, I know. But it was a good segue to help me get into like why I be recommending 2K Lab so much. My game-changing shot alteration, very late timing. It seriously is very personalized. It is personalized, and I think folks need to understand that just because the homie B Smooth shoots on very late timing doesn't mean that you should go out there and put it on very late timing. That's why you got to go into the lab and figure out. I approached 2K23 thinking that I had to adjust to it. So what I learned from the 2K Lab service is that I don't need to adjust to it. I could actually keep my same timing that I'm used to and just figure out the right jump shot that works with that timing. Where I was trying to previously, I was trying to adjust to the jump shots that are already there. So facts. Yeah. What up, Coins? Was good, man? Quick question. Does the person stats mean they're a good player or their actual gameplay? I've seen dudes come into a game averaging 25 and 8 at the PG and not do anything. We've seen the same thing. The rec is not a good place to assess how, when you're looking at the stats, it's not necessarily a good place to assess how well a player is going to do because the rec just ranges in competition dramatic. Like there's just a super wide spectrum of players in the rec center. So we've seen the same thing where folks are averaging 25 and we're expecting a good game and preparing to, when we start the game, we're like, hey, everybody on point. We got a game here now. After we done been spanking everybody by 60, 70 points, we get a game that, hey, we got a good game here. All right, let's go. And then we see the players and it's like, how are you averaging 25? I'm not knocking y'all, but you just wonder how, because we're not even in there with our A team. We're in there with like maybe our C team. And I'm not knocking the players we run with, but I just mean to say sometimes we're not in there with the players that we have the absolute most chemistry with. And we see that we're able to lock up these players and it's like, damn, that's not, it's no bueno. No bueno. How are you averaging 25, B? I ain't gonna front. We have seen players that come out a little with a slow start that have super high numbers, like good numbers. They have a slow start. And when we start thinking that and even start mentioning it through the gameplay, how does this guy average? And then boom, they'll kind of snap out of it and just go crazy. So yeah, we seen it. I just often gauge the players. What I do, this is what I do when I go into a game. Although I do like to see the stats prior to the game just to give me an idea, but I look at everybody's tendency. There's a lot of players that just like to go right. There's a lot of players who are seeking a particular animation. There's a lot of players who like to rim run. So you just kind of watch the tendency of the player and do your best to eliminate that tendency. If he likes to go right, cut off the right. If he likes to drive, step up earlier. Things like that. I wish more comp was in the rec. Yeah. It does get mind numbing sometimes. He said, nobody want to play your squad, coachy. I mean, we be having fun. We be having fun out there. And there's so many of us that it ain't like we're going in there with a super high level of chemistry. Yesterday, we gave a couple homies runs. So we didn't have no chemistry with them at all. So oftentimes because we got the lunatics. If you guys would like to try out for the lunatics, join our Discord. You haven't joined our Discord yet. I don't know what you're waiting on. If you want to enhance or increase your experience on 2K23, come on out. Join our Discord. The link for Discord, just type it in the chat. !Discord. The link will come up. You could join our great community. You have access to me all day. I be in there all day. Yeah, I like the AAU team that beats the whole tournament. Sometimes we can be. What I like about us, especially for me, is that we have so many different levels of players. So say if I wanted to say somebody was talking crap, somebody came into the live stream here right now and saying, y'all dudes are butt cheeks. We played y'all in the rec. And we beat y'all by 20 points. Say, okay, I don't know who I was running with that you beat us by 20 points. But if we get our A team out there, it's a very rare occasion that we'll run across a team that will beat us by 20 points if we got our A team out there. So I'm humble in the sense that, hey, homie, I just want to get out there and play, V. I just want to have fun. But don't get it twisted. We want to get an A team out there. We can get an A team out there and see how much you talk after that. That's how it be. That's how it be sometimes. So I don't mind. I don't have that big. My ego is not like that. I could take an L. I could take an L for the sake of building relationships with folks on 2K. You know how good it is. This is just a beautiful thing, and this has happened multiple times over this year on 2K23. Folks that just seem like they didn't have the aptitude to play 2K make this huge turnaround and now are heavy competitors on 2K23. And that's because of the time that we invested just running with them, selling them. Don't make them, try not to make that mistake, B. Like the game was close. You don't want to do like you don't want to perform a reach animation. The game is so close. We just need to contain. Don't reach. No fouls, no nothing. Just contain, bro. Chill. Be easy. We're already gonna win this game because they're only taking twos. We're already gonna win it, and they're giving up threes. Their defense is weak. So it's through those little communications that happen throughout the game that you start building chemistry with folks. And to watch them make the transition and turn their whole game around, because everything that, all the information that they've been flooded with just kind of starts to resonate. It's a beautiful thing. And that type of chemistry is unbreakable. That bond cannot be broken. And those are the folks that, we like to build with. And there's a process that you got to go through for that to happen. And you're going to take L's out there during that process. But that only means that in the future, we're going to have more people on the A team. Do you get what I mean to say? So sometimes you just got to give folks a chance to get better if you see they have the aptitude at the very least. Ain't nobody scared of Pro-Am. We just don't always have a full squad. Yeah, same here. I don't like going into Pro-Am because we don't necessarily have our A squad all the time. So I normally go into the rec chat on our Discord and I type in our Lunatics chat. Anybody want to run? And then we just put 5 people together. 2K needs add a ranked rec and a full 5 rec. I get tired of going in with randoms and losing to full 5s. Yeah. Well, if it's not fun, Carter, let me help you, bro. I get it. If you get tired of it, if you can't beat them, join them. Listen, we all know that basketball, a huge component of basketball is communication. How do you expect to win with folks that you have no chemistry with or communicate well with? This is what I have trouble understanding. Folks want to invest so much time into 2K, but they just don't invest no time at all, 0 time into finding friends or people. They don't even need to be friends, but folks that have the aptitude to play 2K. And that's what our Discord community is about. I work hard to make that happen. Not only do we have a community of 25,000 members, but we also, within that community, have worked diligently to separate some of the members who have a higher aptitude for 2K. And this is where y'all come in. If you feel you're a good player and you want to try out for the All City Lunatics, come on out. There's already over 100 members in the Lunatics that are running every single day. They're out there from all hours of the day. They be running. So we try to pull those folks from our community and add them into this separate group of players who consistently run and have consistently shown they have a high aptitude to play 2K. If you want to be a part of that, type !Discord in the chat, join our Discord, and you'll get better runs in there. You don't have to worry about running into a full 5. You will be part of a full 5. Everybody's always non-toxic, always positive vibes, and everybody's best intention in the Lunatics is just to get folks better. So that way in the long run, you have more players that are better. You should be able to be a part of at least 3 Pro-Am teams. That's facts. That's facts, Tim and Tannis Edwards. That would be good. Letting folks join like 3 or 4 Pro-Am teams without having to leave it. Be honest with you. I wish all the game modes was matchmaking. Yeah, that's facts. Marco self-made. I was really trying to do the squad thing, but it gets difficult to play with the same guys and build chemistry. The social aspect is difficult for some people, and that's a fact too. So, for instance, and I get it, Thinking Man's Templar, because personalities could clash oftentimes, and sometimes the lack thereof can make things a little more difficult too. But this is why it's not like one set way for anybody to be on our Lunatics. We try to get different personalities in there so that way folks like yourself could align with the wide range of personalities that are in the Lunatics. So I try to keep that in mind when we're adding folks, and this is why when we're doing tryouts, I tell everybody communication is key. And if you find out that you're not communicating during the game, then it's likely you will be removed from the Lunatics. So I try to make folks aware of that. Just so it takes a little bit more to build chemistry, and when you're communicating, it's just a lot easier. If you're tired of losing to full squads, get a squad. Go play no squads in park or theater. It has no squad game modes. That's facts, Frank Daniel. It would be cool if there was a real sim mode where badges, animations are stripped down or limited. It gets tiring playing against the cheesy, glitchy-ish all the time. And those are very real statements I made. I had spoke about that as well. Game mode with no badges and no boosts. So you strip everything down to bare bones. And I had the idea that I think if 2K introduced the game mode like that, that would be considered the comp mode. I think folks they like the idea of the benefits. I'd probably stay with the badges and the boosts, but I think the comp players will go and take over the no badges, no boosts game mode. I think it'll be a great thing, and we can see what these builds are really about. I think 2K is worried about that because their intention is to sell these boosts, these microtransactions. So Lunatics just not a comp squad? No, Lunatics is not just a comp squad. It's not. Lunatics is a lot. When we have folks try out for the Lunatics, we check their aptitude. So the basic key levels, the Maniacs is going to be comp. We have a Maniacs Pro-Am team. That's which will pull the best Lunatics and put them onto the Maniacs. That's the long-term effect. But in the Lunatics, you need to show you have aptitude to run 2-3. You understand rotations. You understand spacing on offense, and you have defensive awareness. So important. And you have the aptitude to communicate what's going on the court, helping the center on a backdoor cut. If you're high, calling the backdoor cut for the center. We check for those things, and that'll determine whether or not you get added to the Lunatics. And sometimes you may be lacking in like a jump shot, but you have everything else that's working out good. Then we know we just got to get you a jump shot and you'll be good. So, these are the things we take into consideration. So let's say you can't shoot, you don't communicate, and you're constantly moving on offense. You think you're getting on the Lunatics? Hell to the nah. You're not. You think I want my DMs flooded by 100 Lunatics saying, get this man out of here? Nah, B, it's not going down. So, and I'm straightforward and upfront. Homie, you got a lot to learn. Try out again, but you need to work on this and that. So, we be straightforward with it because there's a lot of people. But yeah, join the Lunatics, man. These folks are running all day, every day. And it's not a super high level comp. It's not like we're super high level comp on the Lunatics. This is more about casual comp. You just need to have the aptitude. We have strong players in there that can help guide you on anything else you may need to fix. So missing a jump shot, or it's not taking the jump shot, would be more important than missing the jump shot. If you pass up a wide open jump shot after the point guard is getting double teamed and you're the only one open and you don't shoot that rock, aka Dalton, you're gonna be looked at differently. Do you get what I mean? So anything outside of the rec and pro-am and you don't have any rep is pointless with the time you put into those modes. Yeah, it is kind of pointless. Facts. Needs to penalize players more harsh for quitting. I wish they did too. My biggest problem with rec randoms, I feel, are quitters or stat patters. 3 minutes, go 0 for 5, whatever, and quit out. I am not a mean person. I want to play. Finish the game, then quit. Yeah, it is annoying to us too. It's just as annoying when we only have one player left for 3 quarters and we got to play against 4 AIs. I'm like, I don't like playing my career, so I definitely don't want to play AIs in the rec. So I wish that another option that I wish we had is that if the team loses 3 players, they have 3 AIs on the team, we should get the option to quit out. Like the team that's still there should get the option to receive max benefits and quit out the game because we're playing against AIs and nobody want to play against AIs. And give those 2 other people who stood on the court their benefits for whatever they received, their stats for whatever they received for that game. So I wish we had the option too to say, nah, B, I don't want to play against them. I don't want to do that. People need to understand that extra pass make a huge difference. Woo, say it again, James. Say it again. The extra pass, man, folks, that's like a lost art. I wish folks approached offense. Let me drop a little thing here too, because if folks approach offense differently, offense is about moving defenders. Who's gonna win the battle? Is the defense gonna move the offense, or the offense is gonna move the defense? My goal at running the one position is to move defenders, or see how defenders move. You got to spend the quarter understanding the tendencies of the defense. This man's fidgety over there. He's too fidgety. He's moving all over the place. Send the cutter out from the opposite side to see what he does. Just see the motion, how they move. Oftentimes, folks are just trying to move the defender in front of them when they need to. They're just trying to beat the defender in front of them when they need to beat the defense. I see that too often. Yeah, gunners all around the city. Yeah, terrible pass. Like, yeah, that's the matchmaking in rec is horrible. Probably because we are so spread out across consoles and gen. Talking sauce. Appreciate you, man. All City, never thought of that approach. I like that one better as they are usually in control, even though I have won a few games to 5. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because oftentimes we get stuck with like one person and 4 AIs, and I'm like, oh, we are not gonna have to. So we're like quadrupling him just to get him out the game. Like, quit, homie. You are not scoring no more. We are 2 quarters in. You not trying to quit, nah, V. So as annoying as it is for the players on the opposing team that have quitters on their team, it's annoying to us too to play against AIs. So we go through that often. The extra pass and assist should count more, and it used to. You got to remember, back in the day, the legend grind was serious, yeah. So pass to assists were huge. I think you got more for pass to assist than the actual pass at one point. I know when I was grinding for legend on 2K20, pass to assist was great, but we used to have to like monitor like what you got for a pass to assist. So, or assist or alley-oop, attack assist. There was something called attack assist as well. And we used to have to monitor all those stats so that we can maximize what we're receiving for each game. And then when we find out what we receive for each game, we'll add that up to what it amounts to become legend. So we get a certain time frame of when we're going to hit legend. It was that complicated. It was that complex on 2K20. And they used to be so fun, and now it's just not there no more. I think a lot of people put scoring over winning. One more goes a long way. Yeah, a lot of people put scoring over winning, and they forget to factor in what momentum is doing. Oh, this has been a nightmare. What I've noticed, even with some of the players that we're running with, is that they're not understanding these momentum swings. The point in which momentum is going to swing, or momentum is starting to swing your way. If you go and do some goofy when momentum is swinging your way and you want to go up on 3 people and try your new move, now we just lost our momentum, and that momentum could swing to the opposing team and we'll get shut out. I wish more folks understood that. Get the momentum fully on your side and then go try something goofy. And what I mean by momentum fully on your side, the game is close, right? You're going, game is close. Or say you were down by 8 points. You got enough momentum to swing it right to say you're now down by only 2 points. Now you see the momentum happening. You get a good steal or passing lane animation. Now you're running, you dish it off on the fast break. Boom, he dunks it. Momentum starts swinging your way. There's too many folks when we're right there at the cusp of taking over a lead that want to put on their superhero capes. I'm like, homie, I didn't even see you changing, bro. That dude was just Clark Kent in the corner. Now we're down by 2, and this is when you want to change and go in the phone booth. Are you kidding me, brother? Now we done lost momentum, and now the struggle to get that lead, and this is why you stay 2 quarters only down by 2 instead of getting that momentum shift to put you ahead by 10. It happens too much. Yeah, only for badge points. Passing is as satisfying to me as scoring. Yeah, when you get a good dot, oh. The worst part is playing with a team who all have maxed out offense and no defending attributes. And most people don't understand basketball theory. Basketball culturally has changed, even in the NBA. It sure has. It sure has. I'm one of those players that has way more offense than defense. I have like a 80 perimeter. My main player. This is only on my main player. 80 perimeter defense and a 45 steal. And you won't believe how well I played defense with that player. But the only reason I played, which I completely understand, the only reason why I'm able to play good defense with that player is because I know I have defenders, or real defenders, around me. So if we go out there with players that are very similar to mine with a limited amount of defense, we're going to struggle. And that's what folks don't understand. I bring that player out because I know what I'm surrounding myself around. But if I brought that player out with the wrong players around me with limited defense just like mine, then yeah, we're going to struggle. So my boy is like that. If he winning and he don't score, the GM up to the score. Facts. That's some facts about momentum. Yeah, man. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. On that note, my G's, I am out of here. I'm ready to start my 2K day. If you guys want access to me, the All City team, we're always in our Discord. Usually after a live stream, I start up my 2K day and just get on and get some runs. And you'll see us in a party chat on Discord. You'll see all our names in there. You could come through, say what up. If you're looking for runs, you could find some runs in there as well. There's a bunch of different chats respective to your platforms or environment, whatever region you're in. Most importantly, it's safe, non-toxic. I know a lot of folks don't believe it, but we work hard to keep it safe and non-toxic. So if you're looking for a safer environment, and if you get in there, you do experience toxicity, message me, DM me, because the last thing I want is anyone having a toxic experience in our community. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll definitely catch you guys on the next video or live stream. Easy, y'all.